Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to Find Your Peace TV. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is blessed. Excuse me. Because we are living in some very crazy, uncertain times, man. The negativity in the world, man. The frustration in general, and everybody's lives, things people going through. Just living in a crazy time, man. Very crazy time. It's hard to find peace. It's hard to find stability. Some people, it's even hard to find hope, and that's sad. And that's why I started this channel, because despite whatever we go through, despite what we are going through, we always must maintain hope. It's hard to find peace. It's hard to find that stability. So let me try to help you find it, because I'm in search of it myself. So let's take this journey together, as they say. I had a different idea of where this is supposed to start, but like I said, my day didn't get off to the best day possible. Definitely didn't get off to the start that I wanted it to get off to, which brings me to the point where generally it doesn't happen that way. Oftentimes we plan for things to go one way and they go in a totally different direction. Sometimes we are at a loss, and to be honest with you, that's where I was at. But to be honest and to be fair, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one going through it. I'm not the only one that's stressed. I'm not the only one that's frustrated with what is going on in the world. And a lot of these things that's going on in the world, quote unquote, they are having a negative effect on people's lives. Dealing with issues at work, at home, it's getting tough for people. And Lord knows, man, like I said, I have my issues, have my battles, and I'm fighting. And you have to keep fighting. Put one foot in front of the other. Keep going. Keep walking your path. Keep closing in on that distance as far as finalizing your journey. Because everything that we are going through, as crazy as it may seem, it's a part of our journey. It's on that path. So where that path will end of the day, who knows? I sure enough don't. Only thing that I know is I have a responsibility to myself and to the Almighty to keep walking, keep fighting, do my best to be positive, remain positive, try to uplift, try to motivate, try to bring some type of stability, not only to my day, but hopefully to somebody else's. Because a lot of times people say, you know what, I don't have anybody to talk to. I don't have any shoulder to cry on. I don't have anybody to get these words of encouragement from. That is why I started this channel, for those people. Because guess what? You're not alone. I'm in that same boat with you. And what I have learned on this journey is that you got to keep fighting. You got to stay positive. No matter the negativity around you that you have in your life, no matter the things that you have in your life just drawing from your energy, literally maybe sucking you dry, you have to keep fighting. You have to keep fighting. More importantly, just remain positive, remain hopeful, because God will not put anything in your life and on your shoulders that you cannot overcome. You have to keep fighting. You have to. It's imperative, especially if you have children. Don't always hide your frustration from your kids, from your family. Let them know what's going on, I guess, in your life. But also, more importantly, let them see you get through it. So as they grow and as they mature and they get, or they're exposed to the world, they can think back on those times and they can see what brought you through. Oftentimes, I think about those days when I was a kid and mom struggling, you know what I'm saying? So that means we struggling as a family. But at the same time, she never gave up. She never lost focus. She kept fighting. She kept putting one foot in front of the other, and she kept walking. She kept walking. And she didn't do a lot of talking. She showed her strength through her effort and through practice. And I've seen these different things, and as a man, I remember these things, and I think about them quite often. And they've helped me tremendously in my life to get through tough situations, adverse situations. And to be honest with you, a lot I had to learn through trial and error. You know what I mean? Being knocked down many a times, many a times. But at the same time, you have to get back up. And some people say, you know what, man, it's easier said than done. And the reason why it's easy for me to say is because I've been knocked down more times than I can count. If this was a professional fight, the ref would have stepped in and called the fight a long time ago. But that's the beautiful thing about life, man. As many times as you get knocked down, you can get back up. But you have to want to get back up. You have to choose to get back up. You have to choose to keep fighting. Because the negativity that's going on around you in the world, if you allow it to circumvent the positivity in your life, if you allow it to take over your life and to really take over you, then trust me, it will. And you can't allow that to happen. That's one of the reasons, mainly the principal reason why I started this channel. So those days when you feel like, hey man, life is, I just don't know, you frustrated. I wish I could tell y'all, I wish I could have, matter of fact, I don't wish I could have put it on video. But when I tell you, like I said, I woke up in peace, saw an email, responded to it, and then I just was just like I said, woke up in peace, and then that peace quickly just evaporated. But you know what? Once the phone call was completed, I carried on about my day. I got my mind in order, did my best to get my heart, my spirit in order, because I knew that I wanted to put this video out. So who knows? This is the first video on the channel, and who knows, one of the people that see this video, hopefully it will have an impact on their life, on their day, maybe just at that moment. Give them the tools they need to get just past that moment. Because that's what it is. Once you can get past that moment of frustration and you can kind of gain that clarity, you always will see yourself in a different place. But sometimes when all you see is red, it's kind of hard to visualize and see yourself at that point. But best believe it does get better. But you may have to go through some things before it does. And that's life. That truly is life. So as we live and we grow and we go through things in life, it's definitely going to take a toll on us. But the trick is not allowing that toll to have such detriment on your life that it totally warps and changes who you are. Me personally, as a man, character is everything. You got to be righteous out here. You have to be willing to stand up, not only for yourself, but for what's right. Because right now we live in a time of wrong. You have a global pandemic, man, that's taking over and destroying the world, man. You know what I mean? Affecting lives in so many ways. Excuse me. You have tremendous social unrest, social injustice. It's just, 2020 is tough. But they say 2020 vision. And that vision that I see, what I visualize, is not necessarily a good one. And the only way that you can change that is if you change your own outlook. Yes, what is going on around you and in the world, it is going on. And it most certainly will have an effect on your life. But you cannot allow it to dictate the character that you have. You can't. Because if you do that, that's the game. That's the game. And that's the test. That's the test. I believe it was Theodore Theodore F. Roosevelt said one time, if I must choose between righteousness and peace, I choose righteousness. And that's not an easy choice, because it's easier not to be righteous. It's easier to go with the quote unquote flow, to be a part of that negative crowd. It's harder to stand on your own. Be different. Like they say, dare to be different. Don't feel as though there's truly safety in numbers, because depending upon the situation, it truly is not. It truly is not. Because if that majority is a negative majority, how is that beneficial to you truly? How? But when you walk these roads and you take these journeys in your life, especially when it's just you, the strength that you gain from these trials and from that journey, you can't replace that. You can't. And the peace that you gain once you win these battles in your life, nobody can ever take that away from you. So that's why it's so important to keep fighting. Got to. You have to keep fighting. You have to keep being positive. Do your best to motivate and uplift one another, especially if you have quote unquote people around you who are struggling as well. You know what I mean? Do and try to be that person to motivate and uplift. And I know that it's hard, because some people are just truly lost. And you know what? If that's the case, sometimes you got to let things go, let people go. But if you let people know, you know what? I'm here for you. If you want to talk, just let me know. Then you've done your part. But if they don't want to receive or take that help, that's not your fault. That's not your plight. Let them walk their own path. Sometimes some people got to do that, despite it doesn't matter how many people are trying to step up and talk to you or motivate you. If you truly have no room in your heart for that, then as they say, it's falling on deaf ears. And you're not wasting your time, because you're doing the right thing. You're trying to uplift somebody who's going through a very tumultuous time. And in this day and time, this day and age, as they say, that's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. A lot of people. So I chose to initiate, as they say, hey, this is my version of a peace movement. Just trying to motivate, trying to uplift, trying to be a positive force out here. This is what I'm trying to do. One video at a time. Some people will get it, some people will not. Hopefully more people get it than not. But as I said, that's where we're at. We're in a very, 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 very unknown place. The world has really not been here before. But we are here now. So the fact that everybody is here, the fact that we all have to go through this, and in some situations we have to go through this together, then why not do your best to be your best? Whatever version of yourself that you were the previous day, the day that you wake up, you should already have in your mind, hopefully your heart and your spirit, today you're going to upgrade. I'm going to be me 2.0. As long as you wake up, which is a blessing in itself, and you're doing your best to be a better version of yourself than you were the previous day, then you're taking a step in the right direction. Because as they say, time is promised to no man, especially today with everything that is going on in this world. I mean, this quote unquote virus is, I mean, it's destroying people, man. It's affecting kids at an astronomical rate. Everybody, everybody. It's forcing people to stay home. And now that people are staying home with their, I guess, spouses, wives, prospective others, whatever you want to call it, is really showing where people are at in their relationship. And a lot of people are finding out that, hey, this isn't what I thought it was. Like I said, God does all things for a reason. It's not for us to figure it out. We haven't even, as I guess, as a human being, as a race, doesn't matter who you are. We haven't figured out, how to tap into utilizing 100% of our brains. So how can we figure out God's plan? We can't. Only thing that you can do, I can do, we can do, is live. Try to live the best life possible. Try to make the best decisions possible to be a benefit to not only your life, but hopefully to the other people in your life and that is around you. But if you choose to be negative, despite all the negativity that is going on, that is also your choice. But just remember, at the end of the day, we all will be held accountable for the actions that we do, for the things that we say. So if you're saying negativity and you're practicing negativity, then what do you think is going to come your way? But if you're trying to be positive, so you're trying to uplift, but yet that negativity still comes into your life, then you keep fighting. Don't allow it to make you something that you are not, number one, and don't allow it to change who you want to be. Because trying to be positive and trying to be righteous, man, that is something to fight for, especially nowadays. We need more soldiers in this peace movement. Because best believe, man, the devil's numbers are large. And they grow by the day. They grow by the day. So if you're trying to be positive, you're trying to fight this war of negativity, then join the channel. Join the club. Because that's what it's all about. This is the peace movement. That's what it is. So my job and my role is to do my best to uplift, to motivate, to encourage, and in my own way to love everybody out there. And it's going to be extremely hard to do that. Especially if you take the most distracting person in your life or people in your life. Some people say, how can I love them or him or her? How? They hate me. They don't like me. How can I do that? I haven't figured that out yet, to be honest with you. But what I do know is, despite whatever that people may do, you can still be positive. And if certain things get to you, then you deal with it in peace. You deal with it. You take that moment of solitude, you step away, and you do your best to just be still. Because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. And that is easier said than done as far as practicing that positivity. But it's necessary, because if you are not fighting for peace, if you are not trying to be, quote unquote, that righteous soul and uplift your brothers and sisters, then you need to get out the race. Because that's what it is. I mean, you look at what's going on in the world, man. I mean, the world is literally on fire. You have so much going on, so much going on. And if you truly are not trying to find peace and be a positive soul out here, then you're in the way. You're in the way. So I need people to get on board, to be a part of this movement, to be an agent of change, as they say. If you will be any kind of secret agent, that's what kind of agent you should be. An agent of change. Trying to usher in peace not only in your life, but the people around you. Whether it be your home, your neighbors, people at work, whatever. Be that example. And trust me, if people are really looking for that quote unquote positivity, if they're looking for that guidance, whether they say something to you or not, trust me, they will see the energy that you project. I believe and I know that to be a fact. So stay true, stay righteous to not only who you are, but what you want to become. If you want to become a better person, you can become a better person. Nobody can dictate and nobody can make you a bad person. People can put you in bad situations. They can usher in circumstances in your life that may put you in a bad predicament. But a person, quote unquote, changing you or making you out to be this or to be that, no, end of the day, that is your decision. It's your decision to let them win. It's your decision to fight. It's also your decision to lose. But never give up. Never give up on yourself. Never give up on your people. And never give up on love. Because I don't have to know you to love you. Just like you don't have to know a person to respect a person. Once upon a time, life was a lot more empowering. A lot more respectful. And as the years progressed, we've gotten away from a lot of that. We really have. We've become more selfish in this society instead of accepting. A lot of people are running out of, the right things to say. So instead of saying something positive and fruitful, they're just talking to talk. And words are too powerful and too important to be saying the wrong things. Some people's mental state, especially now, is not only highly questionable, but it doesn't take much to sway them in that direction of negativity. Because everything that is going on in their life, it's like they're teetering right there at the border between good and bad. And some people just try to stay in that gray area and live. But I choose, man, like I said, I'm just trying to walk as righteously as I can. And it is truly a battle. But good thing about that is I'm a soldier. Salute to my veterans out there, anybody who may be watching this. And this doesn't go back to quote unquote your training per se. But you know, a large part of quote unquote being in the military is strengthening your mind, because your body is they're going to naturally break your body down and they're going to build you back up. But your mind is what you cannot allow somebody to ever break. What they do and say can strengthen and fortify your mental state and process. But that comes down to you. That comes down to you. Are you going to give up? Are you going to give in? Or are you going to fight? And are you going to represent truth? Because so many people are used to living and telling so many lies that the truth, they don't even recognize that when they hear it. And that's real. And that's sad. So I guess that's real sad. So if it takes you being by yourself to achieve and to find that peace, then take that time. Take that sabbatical and figure out and find out who you are. Everybody really should take a minute to do that. Who am I? What do I want? What do I want to be? Who do I want to become? Because oftentimes a lot of the things that we plan, it can go right out the window. And once that happens, now where are you? Now where am I? Oftentimes when that happens, sometimes we may not find our place, find ourselves in a place where we want to be. And sometimes we can't always run away. We have to remain where we are, because that's where God chose us to be. That's where He chose us to fight this battle. Where we will win the war remains to be seen. But you must fight at the end of the day. End of the day, you must fight. Never give up on yourself. And I know it may be hard to say and do, but never give up on your brothers and your sisters. Because even if you don't, quote unquote, share dialect with people, if you're not socially active, you can still want the best for your people. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. If you're not able to have that conversation, that does not mean that you still cannot project positive energy on that person or people. The universe is funny like that. As they say, the ripple effect. And that ripple effect doesn't always constitute a negative action. I believe positive actions also reverberate in that way. That's why it's best to always be positive. Do your best to always to be at peace. And it's not hard. I'm telling y'all. Once you train yourself and you learn how to love yourself, be content with yourself, finding that peace will be that much more easier. Don't always feel as though you have to have somebody in your life in order to feel sufficient, in order to be happy. Sometimes you need to be by yourself for a while. Work on some things. Strengthen some things. Fortify some things. because you can't go to war if the fort is weak. And this is the fort. So you have to fortify your mind, because until you do so, I mean, you're lost in that quote unquote inevitable battle. It's already there. But if you strengthen your mind, you can get through anything. Despite whatever you may have to go through, you'll get through it. And the thing about it is, to get through and go through, you want to come out changed, of course. You should never want to come out changed in a way that will hurt or be a detriment to yourself or others. You want to be changed where when people see your energy, when they talk to you, they can not only see it, but they can hear it. They can hear it in your voice. They can feel it through the words that you use when you speak. That's when people are going to know. That's when you're going to know. And once people start catching on, start attaching themselves to the energy that you're projecting, trust me, it's going to be worth it. It truly is. Because that same conversation that you have, now somebody else can go back and they can speak maybe to their prospective others or to their family, maybe to their kids. And that message of motivation and just being uplifting, positive, you have no idea how that can change somebody's life. Especially that person who feels as though they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have any shoulders to cry on. Never feel as though that you're alone in this world, because nobody's truly alone. That's a state of mind. It's the difference between being alone and lonely. And I ain't never been lonely, although I may be alone. But once you're alone and you are learning and you're figuring out who you are, because sometimes that is your journey, especially at this, or maybe at a specific point or a certain point in your life. Maybe that is your test to love yourself. Because how can you truly love somebody else if you don't love yourself? How? The first true love anybody should experience in this world